Hello, welcome to Shooting Spitballs. This is the podcast where we drag under the microscope a whole manner of real-world video production scenarios, and then we figure out how to handle them when the unexpected hits on set. My name's Martin from Shot and Strong Films, and after years of shooting in all kinds of tricky situations, I'm here to pass on what I've learnt to new emerging video shooters that are looking for real, honest, practical advice that's going to help them stay sharp and adapt fast when things take a turn for the worst on set, which they often will do, believe me. In today's episode, we welcome back Jayac and Matt, and today we're going to be tackling a topic that every filmmaker dreads: travelling abroad with camera gear. We're going to dig into the airport nightmares, getting batteries flagged at security, excess baggage charges, kit going missing, and of course, the Carnet. That all-important customs document that can either save you or completely ruin your trip if you get it wrong. We'll share some hard-learned lessons, swap stories, and talk through how to make travelling with your kit as smooth as possible. Let's get started. Okay, welcome back, gents. Good to see you again. What have you been up to?
Nice to be back.
What have you been up to since we saw you last?
Throwing that at me because I've been on holiday, so I haven't done anything.
Okay. You, Jayac?
I've been looking after my new baby boy.
Ah, congratulations.
So that's kept me busy. Hence maybe the bags under my eyes that you might see. But
you're looking right. Soft lighting.
And yourself?
Just podcasting, really. Getting these new branded mugs in.
Yeah, I like them.
As you may have seen on the last episode. So, for the people who have just laid eyeballs on you two and haven't seen the previous episode, let's go to you, Jayac. Do you want to explain a little bit about yourself?
Yep, so I'm Jayac. I run Red Pigeon Media. We're a video production company based out of Hayward Heath. Mm-hmm. We shoot a lot of corporate bits, small business bits, internal comms videos, but also on the side I do also AC as well for different people.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. And you, Matt?
I'm Matt Sunderland. I run Cinema Pictures, which is a production company in Brighton, which does commercials, corporates, all the usual. But probably more importantly for this, I'm a conference cameraman. I have a good 20 odd years. Yeah. So I've travelled a lot around the world with kit.
Very good. Right then, we all know why we are here again. So let's get into it, shall we? Matt, do you want to press that first arrow? Right, this is another AI image created in Midjourney. It's not too bad, this one. I don't know what the airport's called.
Sounds Welsh.
Yeah.
Welsh International.
That could be Welsh. Could be Welsh. So, what's the job? This is your first overseas job. You're flying from Heathrow and you are travelling out to Vienna to cover a conference. You could be one-man band in it, or you could be travelling with others. It doesn't matter. But let's say you're there to cover a conference, you need to get B-roll, on-the-fly interviews, Vox Pops, and an after party afterwards. So with that in mind, let's talk kit prep. So let's say you've got one onboard camera bag that you can take on with you, and let's say you've been given 2 hold bags of 24 kilograms each. Who would like to go first and tell me what they're going to throw in and how they're going to divide?
I don't want. As in what gear? What gear taken for the job?
Yes.
Yeah. So, because you're mobile on the go, I would always prefer the smaller the camera, the better, within reason. Mm-hmm. You could rig up a beautiful, nice cinema camera and have it look really cool. But if you're on the go and on these sorts of events, you're sometimes you're moving quick. You don't have the time to set up. I also think that's the case in terms of microphones as well. Yeah. So depending on the look that they're going for, rather than maybe micing up people, sometimes I give them a hand mic so they talk. Again, it's style preference. Yeah. You can do quicker wireless microphoning now with like the DJI things or the Rode mics. You can clip them on, but again, it's just down to what style you like.
Yeah.
For camera, I would go for something a little bit smaller. So depending on what the budget is, or depending on what camera you've got, you could go for like a mirrorless style one, like I use Canon predominantly, so like a R5 or something like that, or you could go for the C70. The benefit that I find for when you go for something that's mirrorless is it has IBIS or image stabilization. And I think a lot of purists might go against that and not like that. But I think sometimes when you're on the go or you're moving, it's handy to have, especially if you don't have time to set up like a true, your tripod or you're on a monopod or something like that, something to help aid on that. If you're going to be doing moving shots, then a gimbal is always handy to have. You can shoulder rig it, but again, it's the style that you want to go for. I think a few years ago, gimbals were just overused. Everyone used everything gimbal. Everything was so silky and smoothie that I feel like now a lot of people kind of gone back to that handheld look. But I think if it's like a conference like that, you probably want it a little bit more polished. So for the run and gun interview bits, that's the sort of gear I would take for those sort of things.
Yeah, there used to be, gimbals were everywhere.
Yeah.
And then people sort of just got so
Seasick
of it all.
Yeah, it's stylistic at the end of the day. Some people like it. I think for a corporate thing, it's a bit more polished. But if you're doing something that's a little bit more edgy and fun, handheld's always cool.
Yeah.
But I think people are more used to that now. It's a bit more natural looking. Personally, like I've got a gimbal and I barely use it anymore. I used to use it quite a lot, and then I just got so sick of everything being like that I try and, even if I've got it with me, I'll still just do handheld and just like rock it tight if I'm using something a bit smaller.
Kind of this sits in between, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's not really jerky handheld anymore.
No.
You're just cradling your IBIS camera, and it's in between, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally travel with a similar setup. I'll take a tripod. I will always take two cameras because once you're out there, you're stuck. That's what you've got. What you've taken with you is what you've got most of the time. If you forget anything, then you're either then desperately trying to hire it nearby. In fact, that's your only choice, really, unless you can sweet talk a local cameraman to come along.
Yeah.
So I tend to carry an FX3, FX6, FX3 for a gimbal and handheld because it's got the IBIS, and the FX6 for Fox Pops. So that will always sit on a tripod, and I'll do a bit of handheld on it. But generally, I'll use the handheld, the FX3, and the gimbal FX3. Then everything else fits onto the sound and stuff goes on the FX6.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of lightweight tripods, just so I can get away with a little bit more in the hand baggage. But and then a DJI mics and my MKH60 and a hand mic as well, just in case. And that's kind of all I take. I do take lights now because I'm often asked to do interviews there. And I find having a small 3-point lighting system, a couple of Anmans and a small cob, just helps.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing a vox pop in a dark room, at least you can put a bit of light on the subject and see the background moving.
Yeah.
So you can not worry too much about the sound.
Yeah. And some of the lights you have, so like some of the aperture ones, you can put V-Locks on. So if you're taking V-Locks through the camera anyway, put a few extra in, and then on the go, you can have your 300 or 120 or things like that. I think the 600, you can't, it lowers the strength of it. But for the other ones, you can just chuck a V-Lock on and run it around with you.
Yeah.
Even for some studio scenarios, I do that because it makes it easier just moving it around versus having to cable it in every time. But that's also like a useful thing to use.
In terms of hold luggage, what do you usually pack your gear in? Is it a sort of hard pelly case or anything different?
I don't really use pellet cases because they're so heavy. So I have a Samsonite soft bag that has quite hard sides, and I have a solid don't know its brand, but it was quite an expensive brand. They're all similar prices to a Pelly, but they just weigh a lot less. And then I have the tripods and light stands in the softer bag. And then in the bigger bag, I have the lights, in the hard case, I have all the lights and anything else that I might have. Like if you're on Ryanair, for example, you have to get everything into a tiny bag. Then I'll wrap the gimbal up and put that in a case, and only keep the batteries out, because you have to keep the batteries in your backpack.
Yeah.
And I always keep the cameras in my backpack.
For sure. Yeah.
And the media, big thing. Always keep your media in your backpack, so that even if your tripods and your gimbal and all that disappears, you've still got your lenses and your cameras.
You've still got your fundamentals.
Because that does happen. It's happened to me a couple of times. I've lost gear. But yeah, so that's it. And I'd pad it. And the one thing with a 25 kilo bag is make sure you've remembered that you're going to have to put your clothes in there. Because a number of times I've weighed something and I've got, yes, these are perfect. Exactly 23 kilos each. Brilliant. And then I've turned up with my bag of clothes and thought, that's a 5 kilos on top. Where's that going?
On yourself.
I'm about to say, walking around like a Michelin man, like layering it up.
But the last Ryanair I got, there was a woman on the counter checking bag sizes, and people who had their coats in their bag had to take it out and put them on. And there was one lady who had a coat already, and she said, you can't take 2 coats. And they charged her for whole baggage.
Wow.
Really?
They're getting really strict on other airlines as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I saw it similar with EasyJet. You know, the measurement, usually they're like, oh, push in, fine.
Yeah.
This person put it in, and like the handle was above the line, and like, we're going to have to charge you for that. And he was like, what? And he was like shoving it down, and he shoved it so it was under the line. Then obviously it just started to go up a little bit. And they're like, sorry, it's under there. He was like, it literally is like a slither over, and he got charged. It's like getting strict.
There's a new thing about making more money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of like you. I've got a soft bag for anything longer than a metre. Light stands.
I'll tell you what's another good one to know is a golf bag.
Yeah.
So a golf bag, they count, even though it's not got golf clubs in it, they still count it as a sporting goods thing, and so they don't charge you extra for the slight, because it's longer than it should be.
Yeah.
They don't charge you extra for a hard golf case. So I have a hard golf case as well.
Okay, I'll order that Slazenger bag tomorrow then.
Yeah.
That's what the producer was using the other day to drag around London with.
Right.
Yeah, does the job. I've got a Gear4 music bag, which is like a drum bag, which is very long, which I've had for God knows how long. Does the job. But yeah, you're right about Pelly cases. They sort of take up half the weight before you put anything in them.
Yeah. I think they've got a new range out now of air
Pellies
that are lighter weight.
Oh, good.
But definitely the ones that I keep my lights in standard are like 7 kilos empty,
Lighter weight. Are they still bomb-proof and shark-proof?
I'd have to ask.
Okay. Cool. All right. So...
Also, sorry, one more thing on that.
Yeah, go on.
Do make sure you always check on flight. So I once got on with a bag that was 2 inches too long, and it was to do with the fact that it had to be, so it wasn't a heavy bag, it just had a few little long bits in it, like had a colour backdrop in it, stuff. Yeah. And they said it couldn't go on because the overall dimension, so the length, the depth and the width were higher than a certain amount. So it is worth just checking what the instructions are on those on every flight you do. Okay.
Who would like a red herring?
Why not?
You have no decision in this. This one's going to you, Matt. If that's okay.
Yep.
Are you ready? What's it going to be? All right, now just to let you know, we're going to have to pop that bag in the hold, I'm afraid. Flight's rammed, unfortunately, and that case is just a bit ambitious for the cabin, isn't it? I do get it. Expensive gear, it looks important.
probably worth more than my car, let's be honest. If there's any batteries in there, feel free to pull them out and carry those on. But the rest, well, it's got to go underneath, I'm afraid. I do appreciate your patience, though. Just one of those days, isn't it?
So this person obviously lives on the Welsh-English border.
That's good.
You know, can't really tell. So what would you do if this happened to you in this situation?
This has happened to me.
I thought it might have. That's why it's gone to you.
Yeah, I was going to the United States, and Virgin said, again, my bad, which is why I always check, they changed the instructions on the backpacks, and they'd made them smaller. And they came up to me, they said, I'm sorry, that's too big to go in the overhead lockers. And we took a few things out and put them in somebody else's bag, which made the camera bag a little bit smaller. But they still weren't having it. And I basically said, well, it's not going in the hold, and I'd like to speak to a manager. And luckily for me, that was when the guy just went, oh, do you know what? I don't have time for this, and let me on. But the problem is you've nothing you can really do about it. You can explain to them it's your equipment. You can explain to them it's got, what you can say is that each of the cameras has batteries in it. Because I've also had an issue where they've said that's not flight safe, and I've had to prove that it's a flight safe battery, and show them rules. And in one case, actually show them 95 milliwatt hour sticker, show them their instructions and what they'll allow on. Tape over the batteries. Nobody ever looks. No one ever cares. But if they do looks like you're taking care. And a lot of the time, it's just looking like you're making the effort. We'll turn the tables in your favour. But really, there's nothing you can do about it. If they decide it has to go in the hold and you get a job's worth, I don't know how you get out of that. You would just have to suck it, I guess, and possibly say, well, I'm happy to do that as long as you will guarantee its safety in the hold. Because again, that might make them go, do you know what, da-da-da. Or they might just go, yeah, well, it's going to be put in there by hand, taken off by hand. And I go, well, as long as you can guarantee the safety of my equipment in the hold, then I'll do it. But if you, and I mean your airline will pay for my equipment. If it's damaged, then I'm happy for it to go in the hold. Yeah. Otherwise, then it's stayed with me. Because they'll just take you off. You're not. Airlines have that glorious position of being able to refuse you on that flight, and then you're in trouble, even more trouble. Yeah.
Is there an argument that you could pop to WH Smith's, buy a bottle of water, and then put your camera in that bag, and then just leave all whatever cables are in there and less expensive items, and still put it in the hold?
Yeah, I guess.
It's something I was thinking the other day. So
I guess.
You are allowed that carry-on bag.
That's a clever idea. Yeah.
Something that goes under the seat. I just make sure, again, it's that thing of nowadays you have this whole under seat or in the bag. Again, it's just making sure you have the right, you paid for the right stuff, otherwise they'll... Yeah, and you don't have any comeback then. If you've gone, if your bag is the right size and they're just asking for people to put stuff in the hold, then you have the right to say no. And you can keep saying no. Whereas if you've got something that's oversized, then they're gonna just say, well, it's too big, so you can't put it in the plane, and you don't have any comeback. No. That being said, no one's ever stopped me with my camera bag when it has been blatantly overweight, because how many of your cameras, if you're taking a couple of cameras and batteries, are under 5 kilos, which is current BA policy. 5 kilos in your backpack is all you're allowed. Yeah. I don't know anyone who's ever got on a plane with a bigger bag under 5 kilos, even if you're just taking clothes on your holiday. Yeah. No one's done that. But that is in there, so they do. I think it's as a way that they can say, well, this is over 5 kilos, so you have to put it in hold
Yeah.
when someone argues.
Sure.
I've done a lot of travelling, and it's only happened to me once.
Yeah.
So either I've been lucky or... But I think they are getting more strict on the sizes. So I now try and make sure my bag will fit into the overhead locker, whatever that is, sizer that they have.
If you booked priority boarding and the client's obviously paying for your ticket, would that be sort of a nudge in the right direction?
I mean, yes, if you,
Yeah.
and if you're going business class, they're not going to argue.
No,
but,
it's lovely.
but then getting your client to pay business class is a much trickier.
Okay. What else? Maybe just stand in the queue and stand up straight, as if like
Yeah, I mean,
this bag doesn't weigh anything.
no, that is always a thing. And a backpack, as opposed to if you're holding something at your side and bent over like 90 degrees.
Don't draw attention to yourself.
Yes, don't draw attention.
Yeah.
And they're sort of a bit easier on backpacks because they kind of think they're smaller. I don't know. It's one of those things that,
I know these are guerrilla tactics, but they can work.
because you have no comeback on them.
No.
And, there's no way I'm ever going to be carrying a camera bag on a plane that is under 5 or 6 kilos. It's more likely to be 25 kilos.
Yeah.
Touch wood, I've got away with it so far.
Years ago, I carried on an iMac on a Ryanair flight many years ago. And that was to Spain. God knows what I was thinking trying to carry this on board, but I got on board. And they gave it its own seat. They moved this Spanish man from his window seat and put this iMac in there, in a shopping bag. Yeah. That wouldn't happen these days.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, right, you've managed to get your bag on. We've landed in Vienna, and now it's your turn, Jayac.
So I've not done a shoot abroad.
As in, ready for your red herring, I mean.
Oh, okay. Where's I go? I'm ready. I'm ready for red herring.
You ready? Yes, hello sir. So we've just had an update from baggage services, and unfortunately your luggage didn't make it onto the flight from London this morning. It appears the bag was tagged correctly, but due to a loading delay at the departure gate, it was held back for the next available flight. It will be arriving later this evening, currently scheduled on OS 458 from Heathrow, landing at 8:40. We'll arrange for it to be delivered to your hotel overnight, assuming you're staying within Vienna city limits. If not, you may collect it here from the service desk in Terminal 3 after 9:30. We are very sorry for the inconvenience. These things are very rare, but they do happen. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere between Hitler and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, press the button. There's your situation.
It does look very, very
Solemn and
solemn.
sorry.
Sorry. Which is not what they'd normally look like.
No. So how do you feel about this, Jayac?
It's a frustrating situation, isn't it? Have I ever had it? Touch wood. Just a holiday wise, I don't think I've ever had a bag go missing. But you hear people having it all the time, and people getting it at the end of their holidays or things like that.
Yeah.
I think the one thing is that if they said it's going to be delivered later, don't take that as gospel, because it's been delayed once. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. So I think you have to start thinking as like, what's your insurance policy? As in like, what's your backup? Is there things in there that you desperately need? Is there rental houses nearby that has that stuff? Or is there, peer-to-peer rentals that you can get locally?
I'm going to give you another spanner in the works.
Okay.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
And the conference starts early Monday morning. Just another little thing to think about.
It's Sunday. So they should arrive Sunday night before your conference then? Is that what they say?
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
At
Bit
9:30.
Okay.
So possibly it will be delivered to your hotel 11 p.m. at the latest. But, who knows?
I think you'd have to just start finding backups. as take it that you're not going to have your equipment and just find out how much it is. I'd always recommend that anyone who travels or does any work should have insurance, regardless of what it is, so that you're covered for these sorts of things if you've got last minute rentals, because you don't want to have to suddenly start forking out a couple grand.
Yeah.
You say to your client, you know, my baggage got missing. They don't care. That's not their problem. You know, they paid you for a job. You're there to do the job. So make sure that you've got good insurance, whether you're shooting in the UK or wherever you're shooting, and start, finding out, right, Monday morning, can I have a rental house that delivers to site? Is there places where I can get it? Or does anybody know anybody in that city? You know, if we're in Vienna, if I reach out to my network, hey, does anyone know any other camera or lighting technicians in Vienna? Because I'm in a bit of a sticky situation, and see if you can use your network to find someone that you can rent on or potentially pull them on board. But yeah, I would always start working on a backup and not assume that something's going to happen just because they said it's going to happen. The other thing you can do is that if it wasn't in Vienna and you're working outside and they said you have to come collect it, I think if you make enough of a fuss, nobody, as British people, would kind of like to be polite and, okay, no worries. Whereas I think in these situations, it's like, hang on a second, no, I need these stuff. I need to know what the plan is. Yeah. If you're quite vocal with them and say, right, I've got a job starting tonight at 11:30. I need the equipment before then. I need this on like a courier tonight or at your Addison Lee, wherever they have out there. And just always tell them a sooner deadline than your actual deadline. And then you've got that room of buffer as well.
Yeah, I like that.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like them. You mentioned leaning on sort of your online community.
And the concierge. Concierge, the other people to ask, you're at a conference. Chances are there's going to be an AV team doing the audio, doing the back of room cameras.
Yeah.
Reach out to them, because the chances are they're staying in the same hotel.
Yeah.
They may even have some of the kit you need, which is why you always put your cameras in your backpack with your media and your batteries, because that way, worst comes to the worst, you can do handheld, you know. And a tripod is easier to get hold of than a camera and media. Yeah. But yeah, concierge is always good.
That's a good shout.
And the AV team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your producer on site should be able to get you on touch.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Back to social media. We have a lot of trust more so these days, don't we? And social proof of who you are. Yeah. So you're more inclined to reach out to someone and they would help you out just because of that whole social media connection.
Yeah. It's not like it's like a no face to a name. You know, you have like an Instagram, people say, oh, you've worked, you know, this person, or you worked here and stuff like that. But yeah, I like what you said about concierge or the AV team. And the other thing to remember as well, it's not like you've been lax. It's not down to you. You know, if you tell the people when you arrive there, hey, I'm waiting for equipment that's supposed to come tonight, it doesn't necessarily look bad on you because you've not done anything wrong. It's down to, they'll probably turn around and be like, oh, do you know what? I've had something similar happen before. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one thing, is just not to stress, because especially if it's your, you know, first time working with a client or something like that, it's when situations like this arise, it's really stressful. I think it's important to remember that something like that is out of your control. It's not like you forgot to pack something. That's 10 times worse because that's down to you. Sure. This is down to the airline and the gentleman who's looking very solemn on screen.
I mean, it has happened to me twice in my career. Once last year. What, this year? This year.
Yeah.
And we were flying to Helsinki, and Helsinki airport was having big strike issues. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't go there. So we went to Warsaw, then to Tallinn, then caught the ferry across. So we were like a big old route, and the bag was lost on the first leg. Now, luckily, it had mostly clothes in it. As I say, I always have the third bag for your clothes. But it had a few bits and pieces in. We didn't bother sourcing stuff for that because it was mainly clothes. But we had to buy clothes when we arrived. And there was a tripod, but the first couple of days were all on gimbal, so it wasn't that big a deal. And it did come 2 days later, but there was always a chance it would never turn up because they couldn't even tell us where it was. Right. They had no idea where it was. And then I was walking back from the venue, and somebody unloaded it from the side of a van outside the hotel. That was the first time we knew what was happening.
No way.
The guy delivering it. And so all I was out was a few pairs of pants, a pair of socks. But it was, and the other time was more serious because it had all our lighting gear in it. And that we were going to LA, I think, San Diego, and it went to Dallas.
Yeah.
Like you do. And that took 2 days to get back. And we were shooting the morning after. And so we were sort of trying to source local things, but, filming on the back of sofas, leveling it up on cushions and, using as much natural light as we could. And all the house's lights were sort of strung around to try and get more light onto the thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was the producer and me were there. It wasn't anyone else. So we kind of got around it.
Yeah.
But it does happen, and you do have to think,
Yeah.
how can I get out of this?
Yeah.
That wasn't a conference, that was a shoot.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different. Yeah. And we were going to have some lights delivered the following day.
Yeah.
But then the lights arrived about mid-morning, so it was good. So
So
Just
maybe it's
have
a good idea
backups.
to check who the AV team is and ask them beforehand, even before the situation happens.
Yeah,
To say-
or just check local
Yeah. Or
things.
have
And it's
them
always
in
good to
place.
have a local runner.
Yeah.
If you can afford a local runner,
Sure.
they're always handy to have because they'll know their way around.
Yeah.
They'll know hire companies. They'll know camera ops.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little easier because you can just go, look, our luggage has gone missing. Do you know anyone who's got this, this, and this?
Yeah.
And the runner will usually know.
Could you put all of your fundamentals in one backpack? You can shoot interviews on a gimbal because they're going to be vox pops. You're not going to be standing up for very long. You buy mini light stands, mini light. Obviously, it's all emergency kit,
Yeah, I mean, we were
but
talking
just in
earlier
case
about
everything else fails.
the nan lights, the little
Yeah.
square things. You could probably get away with those.
Mm-hmm. Or roll up LEDs,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Falcon eyes.
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people use those for that.
Yeah. It
Does
depends
come in
on
handy.
it depends on what gear you have,
Yeah.
what you want to take, But yeah, technology we were talking about earlier. Technology is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and more accessible.
Yeah.
That soon there probably will be the perfect rucksack side thing. That's like a full setup that you can do.
Full
It's,
studio in your
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can go. It's like any shoot. You can go as like big as possible. You can go as like small as possible. You can have a dedicated sound mixer, then the audio going into there, then recording out into SD card, or you can have the mic going straight into your camera, or tripods. You can have big tripods. You can have small monopod if it's on the go.
Mm-hmm.
You can, for any shoot, you can rig it as big as you want. You can also rig it as small, within reason, as you want as well.
I think the tripod is the biggest. The tripods and the light stands. They're the things that it's harder to get by
Because
with.
for safety as well. Like
Because you can put you could take 3 nan lights in your bag, or similar small lights that you could put onto the back of chairs and stuff.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just much harder than having that. And then tripods. I've worked on little tripods, and you can never get the nice smooth shot that you want to get
Yeah.
on like a smaller.
Yeah. Or you lock it off and you can see slight movement and you're like, right, I've tightened this as tight as
Yeah.
possible. And you can just see it like ever so slightly like moving down.
Uh-huh.
I've had that before.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've had one where that was a broken tripod that I took, and during the course of the interview, I'm watching and I'm thinking, I'm sure these lines are looking a bit off, and it was just drifting down on one leg, very very slowly though, and it's hard to explain that. Could we just do that take again?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get some gaffer tape and wrapping it around a leg. It's not the most professional look.
No. Gets the job done though.
It does.
Yeah.
Gaffer always gets the job done.
Just
Yeah.
don't post it online.
That is a good tip to have, is to always have some gaffer tape or something, because you never know when you want to just cover something, tape something, fix something.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those small things that you don't really think about taking, but it comes in handy for so many.
For sure.
And it's always the first thing out in a 23 kilo bag. If you've got a 2 kilo roll of tape. But yeah, I've covered overhead lights with gaffer.
Yeah.
When there's been no other way.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that was another good deep dive. Just while we're here, what about Carnets? What's your view on that, Matt?
I mean, everyone hates Carnets.
Yeah.
No one likes Carnets.
Uh-huh.
The customs people don't like them. They don't really want to be doing them. The production company don't because they cost a lot of money. The client doesn't because it adds to their bill. The crew don't because they have to take it through the airports, and it adds 2 hours minimum to your journey. But if you don't do it, and a customs guy has had a bad day, it will cost you a lot of money and possibly your equipment.
Yeah.
If you don't have them, I try to always travel with them.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit to occasionally just ignoring it and hoping for the best with a smaller kit. But for all the pain that you go through to do them, and there's no question about it. The hoops you have to go to get your thing stamped. Generally not so much in the UK, but in Europe and the US, finding the customs office can take you an hour.
Yeah.
And then they have to check bits and pieces sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've known people who've been stopped and they've charged them up to 40% of their kit. And that was stuff that you could have easily hidden. But they got stopped. They must have been having one of those days where they checked everybody.
Yeah.
Because they only had cards for a VMix machine.
Mm-hmm.
And they got stopped and they got charged. And until they'd paid, the equipment was held. It was not good. I think they got charged about £400 each.
Wow, okay.
For each item.
Yeah.
And suddenly that makes the carnet worth doing.
Yeah.
But having said that, I've had a carnet a lot, and the number of times I've walked in, had to ring a phone number to get somebody to come along to even check it. And then they've not even opened the boxes, they've just taken it away, stamped it, and given it back. So, yeah. I would never say don't travel without one. Yeah, that's it. Cool. I would never say don't travel without one. In the end, it's tax deductible.
Yeah.
So everyone will get that money back at some point along the route.
I shot a documentary for a professional boxer last year in Los Angeles. And the whole group was about 8 strong. And we were all flying at different days. So one on the Friday, one on Saturday, one I was last to go. So we divvied out my gear because it wasn't a lot of gear to begin with. I would still consider it small fry.
Yeah.
So I gave a travel tripod to one of his boxing coaches, my gimbal to someone else, and it worked. It was all carry-on, nothing went in the hold. Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit of teamwork at work.
To get it done. Yeah, I've never done a large production abroad. I've only ever done one, and it was purely for like a vlogger style video.
Yeah. So
all I had was my camera. Like I don't know the full process, but people say that you have to do the Carnet and things, but this was literally just my camera in a bag. So I didn't have a gimbal, didn't have a tripod, didn't have anything. It was just that. So if I was to go through, I could be like, well, it's just a holiday camera. It was the mirrorless one. Yeah. Which is not the right way to do it. Yeah. But for that shoot, that's the only thing I was taking across. But yeah, I've heard people with similar things where they've had Carnets that weren't quite correct, or they told me that it's really strict, it needs to be done proper. So if I was to do a larger shoot, that's the route that I'd probably go down.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's like anything. If you think, well, so obviously I don't do a Carnet when I go to on holiday.
Yeah.
And I've just been to Japan, but I took no small amount of gear. You know, I took a camera, I took a couple of GoPros, and a 360 camera.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it because, you know, supposedly, I think, well, I don't know, there's a certain tourist exemption, isn't there, that they'll let fly. But if then you're saying you're a tourist and you're going on to work, especially in the States, especially now, if you're caught lying, then you're never going to be allowed back into the States.
Yeah.
You'll be refused entry, you'll be sent back.
Yeah.
So, you know, you say you're going for a business meeting and then you've got your cameras of everything and you'll be okay. But it's, you know, it's where you draw the line. You know, do you get an I visa? Is it worth it for you to get an I visa? I have one because I was working a fair bit in the States and it made sense to me to just as interviews. I wasn't permanent. ICE. Just saying. And I'd go in, I'd do some interviews, I'd come back, and then a few months later I'd go back out. And it was worth the time and the effort to get the I visa. Whereas a few years before I went out on a one-off, and I sort of went in saying I was going for a business meeting. But again, I was carrying 2 cameras, some lights and tripods. Had they been a bit of a pain about it, they would have gone, well, what's all this
Yeah.
that you're using for a business meeting?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're in trouble, and you're trying to enter a country illegally then because you're saying you're a thing. So it's one of those switches where if you don't do it and you get caught, you'll face a lot of trouble. But if you do it, no one cares.
Yeah.
And you can see that, you know, nobody wants to do it. The customs guys are sort of often annoyed that they've had to come down to stamp your form. The production company is annoyed because they've had to prepare a carnet. You're annoyed because you've had to find your serial numbers.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
And if you were smuggling anything, then you wouldn't turn up with a carnet,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
So do we all err on the side of caution here?
I do now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I always think it's good to, as you know, there's always 2 sides. You know, you can always keep pushing your luck, but then the chance it goes wrong, it can go wrong massively for you.
Yeah.
And then is the benefit of that outweighed by that? Again, if you can charge it to your client, say this is part of it, then it doesn't make a difference. But on the flip side, like you said, if it's a small enough shoot, or you got, you know, bits where I'm not taking loads of stuff, and you've got a reason to say, then you're just starting out. But yeah, it's always, I always think it's better to learn from other people's mistakes than make the mistake yourself after someone has told you endlessly this is what you should do, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're going beyond carnet countries, like Brazil now, isn't a member of the ATA carnet scheme, they have a whole new set of rules. And they're quite hot on it, I believe. So they will be checking bags in a way that, and you've got to remember now that you're coming into a non-European space where basically you're the immigrant. So you're the person who would be smuggling.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, if you go into that kind of thinking,
Yeah.
that you know, which country are you coming from?
Yeah.
That's where they try and bring cameras in from.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
Japan, I think, is the same. I'm not sure if they're in the carnet. But anyway, there are lots of countries that don't use carnets. Check with them, you know, find out what you can, and then do the best you can to make it easier. Because if you're going into, say, Jordan, and I've worked in Jordan, but luckily I was working for the army, so it wasn't a problem. But I know of people who've gone there and had equipment seized, and that's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
You know, unless you sometimes bribe, not Jordan,
Yeah.
but other countries where you've had to bribe to get the stuff through customs.
Yeah.
So just, you know,
Okay.
be aware when you're travelling of what the local end thing is.
Yeah.
Very good. Tried to give you a Carnet 101 there. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That was good insights there.
Yeah, no, I learned a lot as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
yeah.
So, before we go, where can we find you, Matt, on socials, etc.?
Matt, with a single T, sunderland.co.uk or sooniperpictures.com.
Lovely, thank you. And Jayac?
It's at Red Pigeon Media on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube coming soon. And the website if you want to check it out. Yeah.
Why Red Pigeon?
Oof. Do you want a long story? A short story. Short story. People memorize things by visualization. And I couldn't use my name because my name, you say Jayac, but it's spelled with a J. So I was like, I'm going to be forever explaining this. And at the time, I used to do little videos of near the old company I used to work for, officers. There used to be pigeons pecking into. They used to use thrash metal music as you're recording pigeons, so it looks like they were headbanging. And I used to get the most response. People used to say, this is disgusting, or this is funny, or so. And I was like, people have this weird association with it. So I was like, right, well, when I name the business, it'll be something to do Pigeon Media. It was all taken.
Yeah.
So it's funny, my mum was like, put a colour in front of it. I was like, cool, what, red? Okay, perfect. And that's where it came from.
Oh, nice.
So when I first started filming, I used to shoot a load of graffiti street artists. And I remember this guy came up to me, he's like, oh man, you're the pigeon guy, aren't you? And I was like, ah. So I was like, if you don't, you're not going to remember my name because it's difficult. But if you remember the pigeon, you go back, research pigeon, then
Yeah.
I'll come up.
Just to not leave you out, Matt, what does Sooniper mean?
There were three of us to begin with. Sunderland, Nimmo, Palmer.
Nice.
Sooniper.
Okay, cool. All right.
One's a tech exile, and the other one works for the BFI.
Yeah. I shall sleep well at night, knowing this information. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you both on another episode very soon.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, please share it with others, whichever platform you're watching or listening on. If you've got any thoughts, questions, ideas for future episodes, then drop me a comment below or email me at martin@shotandstrungfilms.com. In next week's episode, we're heading somewhere a little closer to home, but no less challenging, a university lecture theatre. And in this environment, we're going to throw in a curveball of working with a nervous sound technician who isn't quite sure of their setup. It's going to be another episode full of problem solving, so make sure to join us for that one. Until then, thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.